Huri tēnei no kaitahu, ka te mamui waitaha no Otautahi ahau no Aotearoa, and ko Alice Diamond tōku ingoa. So hello, kia ora. I'm Alice from New Zealand, from the people of Ngāi, which is a iwi or tribe in the South Island of New Zealand. And that is where I live in Christchurch, and I work for an organisation called Tokona Tiraki. So I learned about futures thinking through a Western university, and I guess what I've started to realise over my time working in futures thinking is that when we see it in that way, it feels quite inaccessible, and it feels like you're working towards this end goal of being a futures practitioner, but really futures thinking is something that can be very innate, and I guess I'm interested in trying to reclaim that kind of future making mindset that our ancestors had. And although possibly over time, given processes of oppression or our having less space to think in that way, then we don't get the chance to think in a kind of expansive way of thinking about the future. So I'm interested in this sort of work because I think we need to reclaim some of that futures making mindset, but also present it in a way that feels a lot more accessible for people so that they can see that they are future thinkers and that future generations thinking can have really powerful impacts on making our world a better place. Something that I was interested in was the words of onamata and anamata. So they're our words for past and future. What it means is that you see the past through the lens of your ancestors and the future through the lens of the eyes of your descendants. So I guess the relational aspect of futures and therefore what that means for the decisions you make by seeing decisions as being relational, or past and future as being relational, I guess it makes our decisions feel more temporary, but that is coming from a position of therefore feeling like you have the ability to shape and give weight to the legacy of your ancestors and therefore the future of your descendants. Me as a practitioner, but also we as an organisation, I would say, try to kind of occupy a middle space of acknowledging that there are a lot of complexities when we're working with this sort of knowledge and asking people to share their knowledge, and therefore, we know that there are things that we need to protect, but there are also things that we're willing to share. And I guess this knowledge came from the past, but also we're kind of continuing to shape it into the future. It is both knowledge that comes from our tribe, but it's also knowledge that is very similar to other Indigenous cultures or Pacific cultures, especially from around the world. So I guess acknowledging and then navigating those tensions or those complexities is something that we always have to be aware of. And I think when we're doing this work, we get closer to being able to be comfortable with kind of sitting in a middle space or sitting in a space of uncertainty. But I think the only reason that we're able to do that is because we have built trust and understanding between ourselves and the people that I spoke to as part of this project to feel confident and comfortable. We still continue to learn about what the boundaries are. We're getting closer to knowing what we're willing to share and then what we would possibly hold back and protect. And I think even just giving people in community who are thinking about futures and are doing futures in a very uniquely Indigenous but also uniquely Ngāi way gives them a voice, and it's a means of celebration even doing those interviews, because it allows us to talk about and think about and therefore celebrate those perspectives.